Hi again, video back to back, so wearing the same thing. Deal with it if it's a problem for you. For those of you that are here for the books, I'm going to review The Candle and the Flame by this lovely lady whose name I'm not going to butcher at all because that would be insulting. This has been on my radar for about 6 months now. I have to admit, it's a cover buy. The only reason this caught my eye is the cover. It is stunning. I absolutely adore it. But then you all know I'm a sucker for a nice cover. This is a own voices fantasy YA about discovering who you are, your identity, magic. Set in a world that I know shockingly very little about. We follow Fatima, who is a girl who has been rescued as a child by a jinn. Now, we're not told everything, so I'm not going to spoil it for you because it all comes out later on in the story. But effectively, she lives in the city of Noor, where people of all faiths and backgrounds live together in harmony. My first point is, I wish I saw more of that. I know that throughout this story, various celebrations are held, as well as calls to prayer. One of the biggest celebrations mentioned in this book is a Hindu festival, whereas our main character is a Muslim lady. We see her going to prayer, what it means to her as well. And then there's descriptions of the jewellery and the saris and the way that the clothing is wrapped around you, depending on what situation you're going to, or who you're going to visit and all that. And it's just so lavishly explained without being patronising. There's a glossary in the back of this book, so there's terms used in there that I vaguely knew about, but because of the glossary I was able to go and look them up and go, oh yep, right, that's what that means, and carry on. And to be so immersed in a culture that's so completely different to my own was really refreshing for a fantasy story. It meant that aspects of the culture could be brought into the story, and it wasn't like, we're dragging this in for the sake of dragging it in. It made perfect sense because it all tied together beautifully. And I have to say, it was a real pleasure reading this book. And I can't wait to read more own voices. I have been trying to up my own voices selections, and I think I'm doing quite well. But I want more authors like this lady given the opportunity to tell her story and her characters, because it's amazing reading a magic story from someone else's point of view, and it's quite refreshing. I absolutely loved this, I have to say. It was a beautiful book to read. It is a standalone, which might be one of my complaints because I'd love more from this. It was just absolutely lovely. There's a slight romance element to it. It's a little bit insta-love, but it's kind of explained why it's that way, but Fatima's not held to it, and I'm trying to be really vague so I don't ruin it for anyone, but you'll understand when you read this book what I mean. I've heard people complain about the romance in here. It's not a problem. In all honesty, once you get to the end of this book, it's not a problem, trust me. The jinn in here, we meet 2 different factions of the jinn. There are actually 5 groups in this world. We meet the order and the chaos side of the jinn and how they conflict or support the humans. And it's really interesting because I know a little bit about jinns, but to see them actually interacting with the human world, that's something you don't normally come across. They're very much sort of like Aladdin kind of thing, you know, like a genie in a bottle. And to actually see these jinns intermingling with humans and being part of their world and how it all relates was really nice. What is absolutely fabulous in this book is the girl power. I'm going to use that phrase, and if you don't like it, tough. The women in this story are downright amazing. This is how you write female characters. They are honest to who they are. They're not perfect, you know, they fall out, they make mistakes, but they support each other. There's no backbiting at each other because you're different. The women in this story are just all about supporting each other and sisterhood, but without at any point it being we're perfect, because they're not. They're just ordinary women living their lives, and it was so refreshing to see so many female characters on the page who are all different, who all represented a different woman, but they all found a way to either connect or support or forgive each other, and that was amazing to read. And if you want a book that is about empowering and being who you are and yet supporting the other women in your life, read this book, because it shows you how we should be as women to each other. Fabulous. Absolutely. I can't praise that aspect enough. It really was amazing to read. Unfortunately, I can't tell you much else about this book without really spoilering it for you. There's quite a significant event fairly early on which changes the whole dynamic of where you think the story is going to go. And because of that event, I can't tell you anything else that happens in here. I can't really tell you about the plot other than the fact there's more going on than you think there is. And I can't tell you too much about the main character, Fatima, because of this main event. And that sounds really disappointing, I suppose, that I can't do that. But I don't want to spoil it for you. I would like you to go into this book knowing as little as I did about it. The fact that it is own voices, that it is about sisterhood and personal identity. That's what I want you to go in knowing about this book, before you know anything else about it, before you know about the plot or the details or anything else. Just go in blind and enjoy this book. I wish there was more. I can't wait for this author to write more, because I will be picking it up, hands down, no questions. My only gripe is I struggle to get my hands on a copy of this. I'm in the UK. I had to order this especially through Blackwell's, so not my local bookshop at all, because my local bookshop didn't have it on the system. So it was either through Amazon, which I really didn't want to do, because I want to support my bookshops, and I found it on the Blackwell's site, which is another independent bookstore in this country. I just use the phrase bookstore. Whoa, I'm going American. And they had it online for me, so I had to order it. I don't begrudge ordering it. I actually got it slightly discounted, and they didn't charge me postage either. So if you can't find something on Waterstones, go to Blackwell's, people. Really, really good. Excellent service as well. So Candle in the Flame, have you read it? If you haven't, please go and read it right now, because it's that good. But if you have, without spoiling too much, leave your thoughts down below, what you thought about it. And please let me know, are there any other Own Voices books that have come out recently that you think I should be reading? I've got a We Hunt the Flame downstairs on the table waiting for me, which I'm really excited about as well. But if there's anything else, flag it up, let me know, because I just want to read it all at the moment, so badly. As always, in the description box down below, there is a small booktuber I would like you to go and check out, as are my social media links and my book blog links, where there are more ramblings and book reviews from me on there. I apologise for the croaky voice. I lost it yesterday completely, so you've got something. That's about all I can do. As always, thank you very much for watching, and happy reading. Bye.